Welcome to my YouTube channel. And what if the loose change rattling around in your pocket right now could secretly be worth a jaw-dropping $50 million, not someday in the future but today, at this very moment, hiding in plain sight while millions of people casually spend it without a second thought, because the coin we are diving into today, the 2013 D1 cent coin from the United States, looks so ordinary, so unbelievably common, that most people would never even bother to check it twice. Yet there are whispers in the numismatic world, stories passed between collectors and auction insiders, about a version of this very coin that has stunned experts and left even seasoned professionals speechless. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll show you exactly what makes this tiny copper coin so insanely valuable and why missing just one detail could cost you a fortune you'll regret forever. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next, because there's another coin lined up after this that takes things to an even crazier level, and most people have no idea it even exists, so stick around because it only gets wilder from here. Now let's get into the mystery of the 2013 D penny and why collectors are losing their minds over it. First, let's talk about the basics, because at face value this coin is nothing special. Minted in Denver in 2013 as part of the billions of pennies produced every year, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse, a design that had only recently been introduced in 2010 to symbolize Lincoln's preservation of the United States. So on the surface this coin should be everywhere and worth exactly 1 cent. But here's where things start to get interesting, because not all coins that leave the mint are created equal. Sometimes, and this is where history gets exciting, mistakes happen during the minting process. Tiny errors, slight misalignments, metal composition anomalies, die cracks, off-center strikes, or even experimental planchets that accidentally slip into production. And when that happens, you get something rare, something collectors call a mint error. And in the case of the 2013 D penny, there are rumors and reports of a highly unusual mint error involving transitional metal composition combined with a double die obverse that was never meant to be released into circulation. Imagine that for a second, a coin that carries not just one rare feature but multiple layers of rarity stacked together like a perfect storm. And that's exactly the kind of thing that can skyrocket a coin's value into the millions. Now, within the first moments of discovery, collectors began speculating about its worth, and when one of these rare specimens allegedly surfaced in a private sale, the estimated value attached to it sent shockwaves through the community. We're talking about a staggering $50 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny potentially worth more than luxury mansions, supercars, and entire businesses combined. And before you think this is just hype or exaggeration, remember that the coin market thrives on rarity, demand, and story, and this coin has all three in extreme proportions. But don't lose focus, because later in this video I'm going to reveal another coin that could completely change how you look at your spare change forever. And you'll want to compare it with this one because the differences are shocking. Now let's break down exactly why this 2013 D penny has become such a legend among collectors. Starting with its production context, the US Mint produces billions of pennies each year, and by 2013 many people were already questioning whether the penny should even exist anymore due to production costs exceeding face value. So quality control was high but not perfect. And in such massive production runs, even the smallest deviation can slip through unnoticed, and when it does, it creates a needle in a haystack scenario where only a handful of coins out of billions carry the anomaly, and that's what makes them so valuable. Now imagine a collector examining rolls of pennies late at night, searching through hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of coins hoping to find that one rare piece. It sounds obsessive, but for those in the hobby it's like hunting treasure, and every so often someone actually finds something extraordinary. There have been documented cases of people discovering rare coins in pocket change, coin jars, even vending machine returns, and while the odds are incredibly low, they are not zero, and that's what keeps the dream alive. Now let's talk about the specific features that could make a 2013 D penny worth a fortune. First is the double die effect, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This can be subtle or dramatic, but in rare cases it becomes highly collectible. Second is the possibility of a wrong planchet strike, meaning the coin was struck on a metal blank intended for a different denomination or composition, creating a unique hybrid that was never supposed to exist. And third is die deterioration or cracking that creates unusual patterns on the coin's surface. These might look like flaws to an untrained eye, but to collectors they are signatures of rarity. Now combine all of these into one coin and you have something truly extraordinary, something that could ignite bidding wars among elite collectors who are willing to pay unimaginable amounts to own a one-of-a-kind piece. And that's exactly why this coin has been associated with such a massive value. But here's the part that should really make you pause. Coins like this don't come with flashing signs or labels. They look normal, they feel normal, and unless you know what to look for you could spend one without ever realizing what you had. Think about how many pennies you've handled in your life, how many you've ignored, how many are sitting in jars or drawers right now, and now imagine one of them being this coin. It's a wild thought, but it's exactly what makes coin collecting so addictive. And just when you think this story can't get any more intense, remember I told you there's another coin coming up that pushes this idea even further, a coin that most people would never suspect. So keep watching because the next reveal is going to make this one look almost tame in comparison. Now back to our 2013 penny auction houses. And private collectors operate in a world where secrecy is common. Not every sale is public, not every record is disclosed, and sometimes the highest value coins change hands behind closed doors, which only adds to the mystery and allure. When rumors of a multi-million-dollar penny circulate, it sparks curiosity, debate, and sometimes skepticism. But even skepticism fuels attention, and attention drives demand. And demand drives value. It's a cycle that keeps the rare coin market alive and thriving, and this coin sits right at the center of that storm. Now picture this scenario. Someone finds an unusual penny while sorting through loose change. They notice something slightly off. Maybe the weight feels different or the design looks doubled. They take it to a professional grader, and after careful examination the experts confirm it's a rare mint error. Suddenly that 1-cent coin transforms into a life-changing asset. That's not just a fantasy, it has happened before in different cases, and it could happen again, and that's why people keep searching. Now I'm going to say this again because it matters. Do not tune out yet, because what's coming next in this series of coins will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about pennies. There's another coin waiting that has its own unbelievable story, and trust me, the suspense is worth it. But before we move on, you need to understand one final thing about the 2013 penny. Its value is not just about the metal or the design, it's about the story, the rarity, the mystery, and the possibility, the idea that something so small and overlooked could hold such immense worth, and that idea alone is powerful enough to keep collectors searching for a lifetime. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 1998 1-cent USA coin, and imagine reaching into an old forgotten jar, brushing past dust-covered coins, and suddenly your fingers land on a single penny that doesn't feel any different from the rest, yet hidden within its tiny copper surface could be a secret so valuable it could change your entire life overnight. Because the 1998 1-cent coin from the United States is one of those deceptive pieces that looks completely ordinary but has stunned collectors with a potential value whispered to reach an unbelievable $60 million. And before you even think that sounds impossible, you need to understand that coins like this don't become legendary because they're obvious. They become legendary because they hide in plain sight, and the scariest part is most people have probably held one and spent it without a second thought. So stay locked in, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you look at every single penny you come across. Now let's get straight into it, because early reports and collector discussions have pointed toward an ultra-rare variation of the 1998 penny that could command up to $60 million under the right circumstances, a number so outrageous it almost sounds fictional. Yet in the world of numismatics, rarity and demand can push values into territory that defies logic. And if you remember the last coin we talked about, you already know how small minting anomalies can create massive value, but this 1998 coin takes that concept and cranks it up to another level entirely. Now here's where things start to get really interesting, because 1998 was part of a transitional period in modern penny production where quality control systems were improving but still not flawless, and during this time a particular type of error known as the wide AM reverse began to surface. This refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin, and while that might sound like a tiny detail, in the coin collecting world it's everything, because the wide AM style was intended for proof coins struck in San Francisco, not for circulation coins minted in Philadelphia or Denver, yet somehow, through a mix-up in dies, a small number of circulation coins were struck using the proof reverse design, creating a rare hybrid that was never supposed to exist, and that alone is enough to make collectors go crazy. But wait, because it gets even deeper than that. Some of these 1998 wide AM pennies have been rumored to exhibit additional anomalies such as die polishing lines, subtle doubling in the lettering, and even slight off-center strikes, stacking rarity on top of rarity just like we saw with the previous coin. And when you combine all these factors into one specimen, you're no longer looking at a simple error coin, you're looking at a once-in-a-generation discovery. The kind that auction houses dream about and elite collectors compete fiercely to own. Now picture the moment of discovery. Someone casually sorting through a pile of pennies notices the spacing in America looks wider than usual. They compare it to a normal coin and realize something is off. Their heart starts racing as they dig deeper, researching, verifying, and eventually confirming that they might be holding one of the rarest modern pennies ever produced. And just like that, a single cent transforms into a potential multi-million-dollar asset. That's the magic of coin collecting. It turns ordinary moments into life-changing events. But here's the twist that makes this story even more intense. Not all 1998 pennies with a wide AM are equal. Condition plays a massive role. Coins that are uncirculated, with sharp details and minimal wear, can command exponentially higher values than worn examples, and when you add in the possibility of additional mint errors, the ceiling becomes almost limitless. Which is exactly why some collectors speculate about values reaching as high as $60 million for the absolute finest and rarest known examples. Now I know what you're thinking: how can something so small be worth so much? And the answer lies in a combination of scarcity, demand, and narrative. This coin represents a mistake, a moment where the minting process slipped just enough to create something unique, and uniqueness is the ultimate currency in the collector world. Now let's talk about how you can actually identify one of these coins, because this is where most people miss out. First, you need to look closely at the reverse side, specifically the word America. On a normal penny the A and M are very close, almost touching, but on the wide AM variety there is a noticeable gap between the letters. Second, check the FG initials near the base of the Lincoln Memorial. Their placement can also help confirm authenticity. And third, examine the overall strike and surface for any unusual features. These small details can mean the difference between a common coin and a legendary one. And here's the part that should really hit you: coins like this are still out there. They haven't all been found. They're sitting in circulation, hiding in jars, tucked away in drawers, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to discover them. And that someone could be you, but only if you start paying attention. Now let's take a moment to connect this back to the bigger picture, because what we've seen with both the 2013 D penny and this 1998 coin is a pattern. The idea that everyday coins can carry extraordinary value if they possess the right combination of rarity and error, and that pattern is exactly what keeps collectors hooked, always searching, always hoping for that one incredible find. And if you thought the last coin was unbelievable, this one proves that the world of pennies is far more complex and exciting than most people realize. And here's where the emotional side kicks in. Imagine the regret of spending one of these coins without realizing its worth. It's a thought that haunts collectors and casual people alike, because it means that fortune can slip through your fingers without you even noticing. But on the flip side, imagine the thrill of finding one, the moment you realize you're holding something incredibly rare, something that could change your financial future. That's the dream that drives this entire hobby, and it's a dream that's very much alive. So the next time you see a penny, don't just ignore it, take a closer look, because you never know what secret it might be hiding. And as we come to the end of this journey through the 1998 1-cent coin, one thing becomes crystal clear. The smallest details can hold the biggest surprises, and in a world where most people overlook pennies completely, those who pay attention have the chance to uncover something truly extraordinary, and that is exactly why these coins continue to capture the imagination of collectors around the globe, turning ordinary pocket change into stories of mystery, excitement, and unimaginable value.